Well, good morning. We're going to kick this event off and celebrate what many hands can do together. What we're celebrating is a contribution to economic development, a contribution to travel efficiency, contribution to travel safety at a key point in our region that generates a lot of activity and a lot of business. We're also celebrating partnerships and friends and people that come together to help us make important things happen. A little background on this project. The planning for these kind of things oftentimes goes a long way back, and I'll say that this one started roughly in 2004, but you could pick a date even before that, when the city started planning the vision for this Queensgate area. And at the time, access to the area was through a single interchange behind us on the state highway system. And when there's a little bit of activity and a little bit of business next to an interchange, it works beautifully when it's a simple interchange. And what we could foresee all the way back in 2004 was that the city's vision for developing this area was going to generate more traffic. And so we started planning on what type of facilities are needed to support that traffic, and plans got put in place and work started. And then it's a chase to when is the project ready and when is the money available to make the improvements that are necessary. And we're fortunate to arrive here at being able to have pulled all that together and make a timely improvement. In 2015, I think things probably were getting to a critical, we were critically aware of congestion and accidents and a lot of issues in this area. I had regular interaction with the police chief that said, you got one area, their top area in town that needs attention is Queensgate. There's just way too much activity and accidents in that area. And so we hired JUB engineers. Some of their key folks are here today, and they marched through a planning process with us that evaluated the key intersections on this corridor and looked forward for the next 20 years as to what we were going to need. We went out to the public and had great participation from the Richland public on reviewing ideas and giving us input about what the right combination of features were. Some of the key elements that came out of that was people said they really wanted bicycle and pedestrian connectivity, and at that time, this really looked like a vehicle-only environment. There's nothing about the interchange that supported pedestrians and bicyclists, and so it didn't look like there was a lot of activity. But the public told us that was important to them, and so the project has gone forward. And you see bike lanes, and you see separated trails, and you see pedestrian crossings that are intended to integrate this area into the whole city. There's a few things that make this project special. One is our partnership with Benton County. We don't often have as integrated and important a contribution with Benton County on road projects in the city. Roads are sort of divided by jurisdictional responsibility, and city roads the city handles, and county roads the county handles. But the county has really stepped up. The commissioners have a policy of making a funding source available for economic development purposes. County staff, including Adam File, activates that policy and helps bring these successful projects forward. And it's great. This is our first major partnership with Benton County toward economic development in infrastructure, and it's a shining success from I think the city's point of view, and we're really happy to have them part of it. The second really important feature of this project is our arm-in-arm partnership with WSDOT. It'd be pretty easy, and I would hazard to say, some time ago, WSDOT would have looked at the circumstances on Queensgate in Richland and said, looks like a local problem to me, good luck with that. And we're really fortunate that our regional administrator prior to Todd and now Mr. Trepanier have taken an entirely different approach. And starting in the planning in 2015, WSDOT dedicated staff to walk through this with the city and create a good plan. And then they further stepped up that when we assembled the money and had a path forward to implementing it, they stepped up and offered their staff expertise to take a significant chunk of the scope of work and design and contract and get it done. And that's this roundabout right here behind us is carried to the finish line by WashDOT, and we're really pleased with that. The third thing that I think is special about this project is our Public Works engineering team. Julie West and Jody Carnell have brought new expertise to the city's engineering team and designed a project that we wouldn't have been able to design internally some years ago. And so that feels good to elevate our team. And in particular, I also want to specially mention Jay Marlowe and his engineers and inspectors. Speaking of extra effort, Culbert Construction and Central Washington Asphalt performed under really difficult circumstances. We gave them a challenge at the beginning of the summer, said this thing's got to be done by August, and if it would have carried smoothly according to design, that would have been one thing, but it didn't. Both projects encountered significant obstacles, and they overcame those obstacles to get us to this point. And finally, it'd be really remiss if we didn't mention our local businesses who really approached this thing with grace and patience for the most part through a really difficult summer. And so we have several of them that have provided some of our refreshments. Ethos Bakery has provided some refreshments for our event today, and I encourage you to start visiting them with more regularity now that it's easier to get to them.
This is an example of people actually coming together in times of need. You know, the project, as Pete was saying, started a long time ago, but it really started because City Council had a vision that about 80% of the tax revenue for cities to operate in the city of Richland was all property tax, because we didn't have any retail sales tax. And so there was a conscious effort to try to develop new retail space. And so Queensgate was an example of that. Columbia Point was an example of that. Both of those had their own unique traffic issues, but again, the idea of working with the state back in some of those projects was more difficult than it is today. And I think, frankly, I have to thank WashDOT staff. I think I have to thank our staff for being more accommodating, getting a better understanding of how these projects come together. As we look at this, first off, I'm feeling great because guess what's my number one call is? Complaint in the city of Richland was trying to figure out how to get from South Richland to Seattle, going through that, because you couldn't, right? And so that was a complaint I always got, and that's now finished. I don't have to deal with that anymore. This whole area is going to turn into an economic development magnet again for the city of Richland. And I think that benefits the entire community, not just Richland, but the entire Tri-Cities, and certainly Benton County. And I want to thank our partners, Benton County. Now, Jim, you're here. Sean, you're here. And I think this is one of the examples when we actually get together and work on projects, how successful we can be, because we all benefit when we do that. I think that's an example of the community working together. Sometimes there are things that we could do better at, but this is the example of what it looks like when you do it right. And so I really look forward, and I know the city of Richland looks forward, we're working in Benton County on future, not only economic development projects, maybe more civic projects, but also transportation projects, because again, it benefits the entire region. And what benefits Richland benefits the rest of Benton County. Pete's done a great job of thanking everybody who was actively involved in doing this. I want to thank the community for, frankly, it was a difficult summer for a lot of people, traffic-wise. But now we get the example of what it is and what the future is going to be. And making change is always a difficult thing. But this is the example of if you can patient enough, and it really wasn't that bad. Was it 4.5 months, something like that put up with? Now we've got our future ahead of us. And I think that 4.5 month commitment to kind of hard times is actually going to pay off. I think you all would agree with me as you watch this part of Richland continue to develop and expand. And I'm watching the traffic behind us. You guys ever remember seeing traffic flow like it flows right now compared to what it used to? Again, that's why we did it. So again, I want to thank staff, Benton County, WashDOT, and frankly my staff who did a great job of putting this all together. It's fun to come up here in the sunshine, and I did pick the day, by the way, for the sun. But it is fun to celebrate together a project that means so much to so many.
We are very honored to actually be able to participate in this project to improve access and the traffic circulation to the south end of the Richland. You know, and we're definitely excited for it to finally open. I know you guys are, because just like Mayor Thompson said, I mean, I've been part of this traffic flow, stopping and going now for every bit of 4.5 months. And Benton County has been able to partner with the City of Richland on this project through its Rural County Capital Fund program, you know, which allows us to invest in a large public facility projects that promote economic development. You know, we appreciate the legislator, as far as the legislation foresight in creating this program 20 years ago, so we could build this funding pools such as these that can assist with big projects like Queensgate. And not to take anything away, but if you even go down to Benton City, that is another big project actually that DOT wound up doing for us. You know, it's just amazing as far as, once again, how we are growing and expanding. You know, I'd definitely like to thank the city and to the Department of Transportation for their work in developing this project and for allowing us to assist. And we definitely look forward for other opportunities, just like Mayor Thompson wound up saying. We definitely want to be a part of that. You know, and I can't go without actually talking to and thanking Mr. Adam File, Cheyenne, Pete here, and everybody else, and like Mayor Thompson said, the community as well, to be able to deal with it. 'Cause I mean, anytime when there's growth or growing, you know, there's always kind of bumps and bruises in the roads and whatnot. You think, oh my gosh, you know, I've been complaining about this intersection, but now I got to stop, you know, and now we have this thing opening up.
The City of Richland and the residents of Tri-Cities continue to be leaders in the transportation efforts to embrace opportunities to serve their citizens. As growth was continuing here in Tri-Cities and Queensgate, the City of Richland recognized the need to put together a partnership to find and deliver this affordable solution. A solution that would serve the local needs and connect drivers to Interstate 182, but plus align with the future economic growth opportunities that everyone has plans for in this area. What they found was what you see here, this great project on the Queensgate corridor. It's created an efficient connection for the drivers, and it fits into the current and future development needs of this area. And as you can see, some people can drive it really fast. Law enforcement, anywhere? So as you just kind of heard from that, these new features will benefit more than 28,000 residents who drive through this area every day. This project also demonstrates something that we're just starting to talk about a lot at WSDOT, and that is a practical solutions approach that benefits communities. This approach is about finding affordable investments in transportation improvements that truly benefit the community. An approach that invests in the right place at the right time and is designed to meet the essential needs of the user. This was an approach that also valued engagement and collaboration. Engagement with the residents of everyone along this Queensgate area, and this creation of this partnership between the City of Richland, Benton County, and WSDOT. You've pretty much heard all three entities now talk about and value this partnership that was key in making this happen. An approach that did ensure this success, as we can see right now by being here today and all of us standing here. In closing, we look forward to continuing a close relationship with all those that have been mentioned throughout this morning. And again, we just wish to say thank you to all that were involved in this project and showing how it should be done.
We were charged with putting some of the public art in the roundabouts that will be coming in the fall. In fact, we are actually a part of all of the Dupertail corridor. You'll see a lot of new artistic features coming into the city in this nice corridor, and our charge was to connect Richland. With this one specifically, we were excited to have two roundabouts to play with, and our excitement was trying to harness the dichotomies that are out there in Richland, whether it be the wise or the young parts of Richland, the south and the downtown parts of Richland. The idea was connectivity. And so we thought of all the themes that connect Richland, whether it be agriculture and science, natural resources, and other exciting things that are happening new as far as sustainability. So we're really excited to bring you these new art projects. The working titles are fishing for gravity and waves of viticulture. So you can take a couple of seconds to check out our boards up here, but we will have our own dedication in the fall when the art is delivered. So thank you very much.
The project actually starts with the bridge. So envision that once the bridge connects to here, you actually connect from the old part of the Richland, city of Richland, to the new part. So the concept of the artwork is to connecting from the past to the present. Within that, we try to we are inspired by the practical solution that the city has been trying to encourage us to do and making collaboration work. We want to tell a collective identity through the artwork. And the collective identity, not just for the scientific factor, but also the agriculture and viticulture and a lot of diversity that happening in the city. And within that, we hope that you will enjoy to see the two dramatic differences, but at the same time, it captures the essence of the spirit of City of Richland. So thank you.